Hi guys, Merrill Cushman here. Me and the Buddha are gonna finish off the 3-part series of how the Wim Hof Method changed my life. And if you missed the other episodes, the other 2, feel free to go back and check those out. But in this, I'm gonna highlight not only how the Wim Hof Method changed my life, but how I became a Wim Hof Method instructor and the journey to get there. And what it's like now, as the sun is shining through the clouds. So last time I left you guys, I just got off this bout of depression, anxiety, and it was the springtime of 2022, and I had just got a new job back in my home state of Massachusetts in Boston, and I was moving from Tampa, Florida, where I went to college, up to Boston for this new opportunity. Let's fast forward then. So I moved back up to Boston. At this point, I'm moving back into my parents, and I'm just kind of taking it easy. And I remember touring the work grounds of where I was gonna be working at this awesome travel company. I remember feeling the feeling of uncertainty, like, do I really wanna do this? Although I was looking forward to the job, there was all these new emotions with this new thing, having to commute to the city twice a week and all X, Y, and Z. A month into it, I was still doing the Wim Hof Method, had no intentions of becoming an instructor. I was doing the breathing, the ice baths, but I also was doing a meditation practice through the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza. And after I got this new job, my new intention was freedom. What does freedom mean to me? Freedom to me meant at the time, I wanted to travel the world, be able to make a living from what I do, to help others, and to feel happy and alive. And some of the emotions, to feel free, of course, feel grateful, to feel love and joyful. As I had this new intention and vision of what I do, fast forward a couple months later in May, after a month or so of starting my job, I ended up going to this music festival in Las Vegas called EDC Las Vegas, which was honestly, like, if you look at it from an employment standpoint, maybe not the best thing to do, because I just started a new job and I was like, hey, I gotta go to this music festival, but I just felt this inner calling, like I have to go. So I sent it. And here at this music festival, although there were amazing memories from it, one of the things I remember the most is the final night of the festival, where I was among thousands. I was dancing in this crowd of people, and the music brought me to a place, and the environment I was in brought me to a place of complete freedom and a desire for more traveling, a desire for more love, and a desire to bring to the world what I felt inside of me. I felt like I need to share this. I want to bring people together. I want them to feel the magnetic feeling of what it feels like to be alive. I got back just before the start of the summer in June, and I remember sitting by the river when I got home, and it was one of those things where, you travel and then you go back home, and then like that first 1 or 2 days, it's almost like your energy is like still there. Like it kind of felt like I was still in Vegas. And I was like, all right, freedom, let's do this. So I just kind of let it go. And during that summer, the Wim Hof Method kept coming to mind, but more of just like, maybe just commit to it more. Come July of 2022, I got an opportunity to go to on a men's retreat. And at this men's retreat, one of the brothers there was a good friend of mine who was soon to be a Wim Hof instructor himself, but he had been practicing the med for a little bit longer than I have. And he was coming from Germany, and he was trying to have a place to stay for a week after the retreat. So he ended up staying with me and my family. This time with him made me fall in love with this practice even more. I think if you're a musician, hang out with other musicians. If you're an athlete, hang out with other athletes, and you can get a taste of the lifestyle that comes with it, and if you really like it. And we're just doing ice blasts, breathing together, and we're out in nature, going hiking. Like, dude, this is sick. And on top of that, we went to this men's retreat, and the men's retreat was so powerful. For me, I'm still young, but I was 23, 22, and it was the first time being around men that were devoted to health, completely devoted to their mental, physical, spiritual health. We were able to share things like breathing, workouts together, ice baths, hiking in the woods, and being around all these confident men instilled in me this belief of like, Merrill, like, you have so much to offer this world, and love yourself, bro, even more than you can, or now rather, because when you express this, it's gonna change so many people that you make it available to. But if you continue to lie dormant within this thing that is trying to emerge in you, nothing can change. I remember at the end of the retreat, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna become a Wim Hof instructor. And it was one of those things where it just kind of came out of me. After that point, from July to August, September, I remember I purchased the Wim Hof Fundamentals course. And just like today, it's like a beautiful fall day. I would do the breathing sessions for the Fundamentals course with Wim, which is him playing the guitar, going through the basics of the method. And it's a great introductory course to it if you don't have access to a workshop in person. And doing the fundamentals course, I fell in love with the spirit of Wim and his message even more, because at the end of the day, I think one of my favorite parts about the Wim Hof method is having more life force, having more energy, more happiness. Because when you feel good, you're not living in survival. You're probably gonna think more creatively. You're probably gonna have thoughts that are congruent with your state of being, and you can express that more. And just like seeing this man play the guitar and everyone dancing, falling in love with like cold plunge and the breathing and the mindset pillar and showing what we're capable of. Me doing like crazy amounts of stretches that I weren't able to do before, push-ups, mind body connection with my breath at the gym. It just like sparked this momentum. And come in October of that same time, I ended up going to Acadia National Park in Maine. And this was a very pivotal point in my journey towards becoming an instructor. At Acadia National Park, which is this magical place where in the fall especially, the foliage is beautiful and they have beautiful hills and mountains and lakes, and the ocean coast is right there and these beaches. During the summertime, it feels like you're in Oregon or California. Anyways, one day we ended up going to the top of the mountain, Mount Cadillac, and to be fully transparent, I ended up taking some mushrooms, which it was so cool and therapeutic, as mushrooms now is gaining new credibility in the Western world. For me, it served a big purpose for me. It allowed me during that time to go deep into reflection on top of this mountain and quite literally like reflect on what I'm feeling called to do. So I'm not saying like to go out and do mushrooms in nature, but I think if you have an intention with whether it's cannabis or mushrooms or any kind of medicine, and that medicine could just be you taking time on a Sunday and do nothing. The point of the story is when I closed my eyes, I did this meditation where I kind of went through different parts of my body, and as I did, I saw almost like a flower blooming, and when it reached my heart, it opened up to the flower itself. And when this happens, it sounds crazy, but I felt that there was a light coming through and around my body, and this light kept going up above me and then surrounding the mountain, surrounding the park, surrounding then Maine and then New England, and then eventually it stopped there around New England. And the message I got was, build this amazing community in this area. Build out your way you want to express and share with the community of New England, Massachusetts, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, etc., Rhode Island. And let that be the goal for when you start. And not to mention, guys, like I felt so much love and inspiration. I remember getting out of it and I could see the whole ocean on a beautiful sunny day. And I felt like that kid that was in the Museum of Science feeling in awe of life. I truly felt like I was in awe of life. And this doesn't end there. So when I was at the national park, we got some food, and then around 4 o'clock, ending on a beautiful sunset, we went on this hike around the beach and then up this little hill called the Great Head. And as the sun is setting, it was this divine landscape view of the ocean, and on one side of the sky it was like orange and yellow, and then as the moon was on the other side it was like purple and pink. I was like, what is going on? This place is unbelievable. And what was even more interesting is, I can't make this up, I ended up seeing this woman who is like a Reiki practitioner, and again, take it with a grain of salt, but this was my experience and what she told me. When she was doing Reiki with me, she said that when she went in, she claims that she can see like images. She saw an eagle. And what was funny was when she was doing this too, in my own personal experience, I saw an eagle as well flying. And she was like, take note of this animal and treat it as what you may, among other things. But again, I didn't know that she felt that. And when we talked after about it, it's interesting. So fast forward, we're in this national park in Acadia, a magical day with the mountain of earlier. And we're turning this corner of the park, and we're on one side of the peninsula and the other side is maybe a half a mile of water in this cove, and there's a lighthouse in the middle of the water between us and the other point of the land. And guess what, guys? We turn the corner and I have this intuitive thought of, I'm gonna do this. Like, I'm not looking back. We're going full send. Moments later, the lighthouse in the middle of the ocean, of that cove, went doom, doom. And then right when that happens, a bald eagle flew from a couple trees below us on the cliff. We didn't see it. It just flew. And then we're like, holy, it's an eagle. Keep in mind, I just had this thought of, I'm gonna do this. Moments later, the lighthouse goes off and then the freaking eagle flies off. And it's like, I was like, whoa, like that to me, like, if I describe people what is a sign, I think that's a sign. Can I prove it? No. And like, I'm saying this the most like non-righteous way. I just think it's super cool. Like if you view like your movie, like your life like a movie, like, are you kidding me? So I took this to heart and I just felt so inspired. And then November of that year, the Wim Hof Academy certification was open. So new instructors could register to become one. So I remember I registered for it, and it wasn't until May of 2023 where I went to Spain to get certified, where I became an instructor. So I literally had 6 months to just go into my Wim Hof cave, where I learned a lot more about the science, the studies behind the method. We dove really deep in the academy, and I also got the chance to be mentored by an incredible instructor as well, or former instructor, but he still does a lot of same things. And I just was really dove in the wintertime into how can I become the best instructor that I can to teach this method. And I'm still learning that. And through this process, it blossomed into this reality where, remember my freedom intention, where I would be walking to work in Boston, or I'd be on the train ride over, like so many train rides, so many walks to my work, where although I was in Boston, my energy, my intention was somewhere else. I was on the top of the mountains, seeing my future participants feel so much love and pride for themselves in terms of what they accomplished. I saw myself leading breathwork classes and receiving the gratitude of what these people were to tap into. And on these walks, it kept my surrender to this mission and passion even more. So in March of 2023, I ended up going to Thailand on this amazing retreat. And shout out Tim Han. He and his team and the people that went there, they instilled a newfound level of commitment, focus, and passion for my life, where I'm like, what else can this method do for me? Beyond being an instructor, it's who in becoming an instructor am I becoming? This just like catapulted me into a new stratosphere where I feel like I matured a lot within those 6 months. And then by the time I went to Spain in May for the Instructors Academy, it was just a cherry on top. Like, I think when you express yourself authentically, you meet like-minded individuals in that same light, and the Wim Hof community is second to none. People here that are full of energy, happiness, presence. You know, we'd go out in the mornings together and go on hikes, or we'd work out together. We'd share dinners and lunches and breakfast together, and there's people from around the world you're meeting that have incredible stories. I was just left with that experience with even more passion to travel and to see and to open my world up to it, because I think the Wim Hof Method, it just gives you so much newfound passion for life, where allows for new information to come about. And it was incredible. And when I got my certification in Spain, I remember it being full circle. Like, I remember going back to all those walks in the city to work, those feelings in Acadia National Park, those feelings at EDC Las Vegas, it all came full circle, and like all the hard work, the study, the sacrifice was so worth it. And I think whatever your goal is, the journey is it's where the wisdom lies. And those moments when you want to quit are those same moments of divine opportunity. I think every successful person, in my opinion, has always felt those fears, doubts. The greatest people in the world, Gandhi, MLK, the amount of oppression, hate, and prejudice they felt for themselves and received, but didn't let them stop them from their vision, that's all from love. And when you love where you're going, you see where you're going, this person you're becoming, it's an immeasurable amount of energy that you always have available to you. I say that in the lens of how the Wim Hof changed my life and why I'm an instructor, because I feel through the Wim Hof Method that it's such a simple way to get back to the basics of getting your mind, your body, and your spirit back into alignment in a place where you can use that information you received any way you want and paint the picture of your life. And I'm still painting that picture. Now it's October of 2023. Moving into 2024, I'm looking to improve as an instructor, looking to get stronger, happier, and healthier. I'm still healing a lot through the breath work, and I'm still finding ways of how calm I can be in situations in my life. And it's so cool how I'm still learning. I'm always learning. You don't have to do anything to change the world. You being yourself unconditionally in that divinity of who you are, whatever that means to you, you at your fullest truth in a loving way, that's enough. And watch as people around you change. So hope you enjoyed this series, and I can't wait to have more videos available. And have a great day, guys. Feel free to like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this message. I'm always pumping out some more videos with travel and lifestyle and motivation. So cheers, mate.
I'm ready to go.